Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, November 6th, early. I'm here with Steve Zuker, who's the CEO of Pucara Gold. Pucara was, of course, one of the presenters at the November Metal Investors Forum yesterday. That's why we're on camera today. I'm doing a sort of a follow-up one-on-one with Steve. And I've asked Steve to start out, because I don't know whether people watching this will have seen the presentation, to just sort of give us a quick overview of the drill program that's ongoing now. Like where on the property you're drilling, roughly how many holes, how big the program, and then we'll talk about what the underlying model and the scale potential is of these targets that's driving the drill program. So can you just give us sort of the basics, the 30-second thumbnail on what this current program looks like?
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, we have a program outlined of 36 drill holes, approximately 7,600 meters that we've started. And it's a combination of reverse circulation and core to cover several of the targets and wide spacing because of the size of it. We're well funded. That program is about $4 million was estimated. And it's started, and we're drilling as we speak, moving on to the next drill hole. I think we're on number 5 right now.
Okay. And it's the RC rig that's going right now, and the core rig's on its way, actually.
Yeah. The RC rig is, the diamond rig is slated to show up next week.
Okay. And so can you just give us a quick overview of what's Lourdes about? What's the target here and why the excitement?
Lourdes is a high sulfidation epithermal deposit, and these gold, and these types of high sulfidation epithermal deposits are some of the biggest in our business. Yanacocha, 80 million ounces kind of thing, gold. Pueblo Viejo in the Dominican Republic, down in the Maricunga in Chile. These are the kinds of deposits that are in the Ring of Fire as well, down in the Philippines and such. So we've got similar rocks, we've got similar alteration to these things and target size. And so that's what makes it really big. I mean, they can run the gamut. Recently in Salares Norte in Chile, 3.5 million ounces, one diatreme was discovered a couple of years ago by Goldfields. And giving you, these diatremes, within that boundary, 3 kilometers by 3 kilometers, we found several. So that's what excites us about it. So we're just starting that drill program to start testing the Heopata diatreme and the Chukjani and Ayani. That's what some of these things are showing on here. This alteration map. So,
right. And can you just give us a sense of? I know something that you talked about yesterday was you have this basically fine-grained silica that sits on top of presumably the main body, the massive buggy silica. The guys to the south of you are mining that. It's low-grade stuff, but it's super easy to mine. But there's an interesting parallel there that you and I and Ken Ballo we talked about months ago, because I know Ken's experience. He's a high sulfidation guy, and he spent a lot of time at Mulatos, of course, in Mexico. And I know this. I know for them this fine-grained silica was actually a bit of a pain in the butt. And they had to make a lot of changes to how they drilled things to deal with it. That's part of the reason why you're starting off with RC is because this stuff's sitting on top.
Yeah, and we can recover it, whereas diamond, it just gets washed away because it's so friable. It's right. So friable, the granular silica, and it's like sand here in this case, and that's what it's looking like at the Apumayo mine, and it sits on top of one of our targets, this gray area there, granular silica. That's what it looks like, and it doesn't really outcrop, right? You're seeing it's kind of sliding down. and it's barren in this case, but on the other side of the hill, just over there, 1.7 grams. So.
And this isn't the target, it's something you got to drill through because it's sitting on top of most of the diatrines.
Well, they're both targets. There's, tens of meters, 50 meters of granular silica that's mineable and it runs. It'll be some of the first stuff that comes off the deposit, right?
Right.
And feeds right into the leach pads, and it's, run of mine kind of stuff. And we don't know how extensive it is here, just because of the weathering and the cover that's involved. So we want to move fast through it.
Okay, and the other target, or the potentially much bigger target, of course, is the sort of the vuggy and massive silica, the main part of the system that sits below it. And this slide that you just pulled up now, this factors into what you believe you're targeting, right? Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
Yeah, this is a resistivity 3-dimensional model of the IP resistivity. And what we're looking at is the areas of high resistivity, and we're interpreting that to be silica. And it's part of the diatreme pipes that come up.
Right.
And they're silica rich, and that's where the massive and vuggy silica is. And this, shows the size of it, the dimension. That's about 1.2 kilometers in that direction.
Right.
And just as I, rotate this around, you can see the bottom of it. And that's what was exciting about using this tool that you can look at. The geophysics is only modeled to 300 meters.
Right.
Beyond that, we start to get weird stuff. But
right. The flat bottom, that's basically just the bottom of what the IP can see.
Yeah. That pipe and that one right there, the Pachahuayco, as we look at it, and that's what adds to this size potential.
Right.
And if you put any kind of numbers on it, 1 gram, you're starting to see large tonnages over this kind of system, and that's what we're expecting. That's what these high sulfidation systems exhibit and display. And just
once you're drilling on one of these things, how do you, for lack of a better phrase, how do you and Ken zero in? I mean, is it just you just chase grade, or are there specific alteration minerals or mineralization styles where you can look at the core and go, yes, we're in the right place, or no, we got to go this way or that way? When in practice, how do you chase this thing once you're drilling?
Oh boy, we had Ken here to help us out, because he's drilled 3,000 holes through the middle of these things.
Right.
On the surface, the initial program, this virgin program, the system's never been drilled. We're drilling from the sides of it through the center of the diatremes.
Right.
And we're seeing the alteration, and we can see, from the surface, the massive and vuggy silica. We know that's the kind of rock that runs. We're seeing it cascada.
Right.
That's where we want to attack it. And some of these things have a pretty clear contact of 5 meters, and where you can see the alteration, the limonite that's altered the rocks on the side. So then we could start to tell. And the geophysics is a bit tricky, right? And that's why we got to drill test it, and that's why we're starting to modify some of these holes.
Right.
So we're using the geophysics with that mapped geology on the surface to target these things right now.
And at this stage, I mean, realistically, what would you view as being successful holes? What is, I mean, obviously that this thing's very large. It's going to take even if everything's going fantastically, it's going to take a lot of drill holes, but still, it's the type of thing where it's a big enough system where you don't expect grades are going to be variable and stuff. What would you consider, a highly successful hole? What would that look like?
Matching what some of the stuff would have been at Yanacocha of 100 meters of gram plus.
Right.
You know, we start to get tens of meters, 50 meters of half a gram, up to a gram. That's pretty successful. We're hitting pieces. Now we got to go find out where there's higher grades and start to step in. And that's these 200-meter spaced holes is pretty wide spaced for a gold deposit, right?
Right. Yeah.
Start doing some infield drilling, and that's what we'll start doing in between some of these things. So some of the geochemistry that comes back as well may give us some hints as well, but really we're focused on the gold.
Right. I mean, I think it's fair to say that the market's already starting to pay attention. I mean, there's a few guys like me that kind of jumped on it right away as soon as I saw the target scale. But is your sense that you're going to get attention from, some of the other guys in the region, the bigger companies and stuff? I mean, do you know whether or not they're paying attention, I guess?
Yes, I do. We in the past we've signed CAs with several companies,
right,
and there's been a couple of offers to make option agreements, and we've turned them down, saying we now have the money, we're going to drill these. And
right.
so another group has just asked us to extend their CA. It just expired. We met with them up at Beaver Creek last year, and one of the groups, and so certainly they're watching, and we're one of the few, right, that
Right.
actually drilling in this neighborhood. I am Gold's drilling up there at our the Santo Tomas Los Tambos project
Right.
simultaneously, but these are similar systems. They're both high sulfidation, so they're working. Buenaventura is trying to permit right near us as well, and of course Arantani. So
Right.
those are the smaller ones, but the big boys are certainly watching. I sent out some of the emails. They said, Steve, we already got that. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Okay. So you expect like December-ish you start getting assays back, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We'll be able to start reporting. Is the plan?
Right.
There's always delays. The QC review and make sure that the standards and blanks and duplicates are all
right. But I mean, and the idea is there'll probably be several batches, several news releases as you work through this drill program.
Yeah. Yes. That's the plan. So.
Okay. Well, and is there anything ahead of? I mean, I don't think there's anything ahead of drill results. I mean, you aren't doing anything else on the ground right now. It's basically just drilling.
Yes. No, that's right. One of the things we've asked about is, well, now that we've cleared some of these drill pads and there's some walls of granular silica, why don't we just do some rock samples there, just on top, just to show.
Yeah.
A lot of road cuts, right, that have been made on the 12 kilometers of road that we've built, and even more. So that expose some of the material that we hadn't really seen before. So we may be doing some of that, but yeah, I don't think we'll really report on that, but it'll be interesting to see and add to the database, right?
Okay. So this is going to be straight up drill results.
Yeah.
I know you've got lots of cash to drill with, and then some. The stocks trading on the venture started trading about a month and a half ago. Symbol is TORO. I know you guys are working on a QBB, but it's usually 2-3 months to get one of those things done. So I think it's trading on the pinks. And I use the word trading with quotation marks around it because the pink sheets is quite often there isn't really much on either side, but I know management is working on getting a QB listing, so that shouldn't be too long. I think this is a great story. I mean, this is a classic drill speculation. Large targets, large potential, because this is a bulk tonnage system. if things work. If you get good holes, the market can visualize large tonnage very quickly, and those types of situations tend to move hard if things are working. That's, in a nutshell, that's the reason why I bought it and the reason why it's in the newsletter. I think it's a great story. I know you've been down there for a long time, Steve. This is a 10-year overnight success, give or take.
Exactly.
and I thought it was interesting that, because I know when you started this thing out, you were talking about being a prospect generator and stuff like that. And I've told readers time and again over the years, I'm not really a prospect generator guy personally. That's just not my thing. But what I always tell people to watch for is if you've got a guy who's running a prospect generator that gets up one day and tells you, I'm not a prospect generator anymore, I'm drilling this one myself, that you should pay attention to.
Exactly.
Which is essentially what happened with you guys 3 years ago. You just said, screw this, it's the old vulture cartoon, screw this, we're gonna go kill something ourselves. And I think it's a great story, and the next 2-3 months could be really exciting here. Thanks for coming by today, Steve. I think people are up to date, and now it's just a matter of have it on your watch screen or get some ahead of results. I mean, it's one of with drill specs, it's always whether you feel like jumping on before or after, but you should definitely be, whichever one you do, you should definitely be paying attention to this, because it is something with potential to move a long way fast if it works.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it's exciting finally getting able to test these.
Yeah, no, it's been a long wait. Great project.
Right.
That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have other backstage interviews with the other companies I invited yesterday, but keep an eye on this one. I think it's going to get pretty interesting here fast.